just when you thought this week couldn't get any funnier, could not get any funnier, we're going to let you listen live to Neil Lennon farting live on air as he talks about the Glasgow Derby. But before that, we need to talk about Rod Stewart. We need to talk about Carol Starfelt and absolutely fantastic news about Reo Hatate. Also, we'll get the news about Reo Hatate first because this is really important. The international break is this week, and obviously it's a time where the manager can settle down and work on the players that aren't away on international duty, but he can also tie up other things. Small matter of things of trying to get Reo Hatate tied up on a longer term deal. Got to remember Reo Hatate, and it was all over the headlines of the media saying that he rejected an extended contract at Celtic. There was fears that he could leave, but he was injured, so he couldn't leave, so it was just press nonsense as per normal. But it's been suggested that Reo Hatate didn't really want to focus on it during the window. He wanted to just concentrate on getting fit again. And now seems that he's ready to have talks with the club. Hatate asked if he could wait until the transfer window was shut to resume talks, but you got to remember he's the one that initially turned down the original terms offered by Celtic. It's been suggested that he wants some more money. Although he's turned down the initial offer, he is open to negotiations restarting. I think Celtic and Reo Hatate reps will get together quite soon and get that deal done. Now that the transfer window is closed, you know, Hatate's priority in the next couple of weeks is obviously to get fit and get back into the team. It'd be an absolute, he's a must player that we must have ready for the Champions League, and it'll be fantastic if we manage to get him on an extended contract, just like Kyogo, just like Callum McGregor, like Leo Labada and Dyson. So tell me what you think about that. Do you think he will sign a new contract? Personally, I think he will. I think it was just all media talk, the fact that he hadn't signed the contract. Now, talking about contracts and talking about players that wanted away, and Mr. Lover, we're going to call him Mr. Lover, Carol Starfelt, has been speaking. And he said that he didn't move to Spain for his woman. Now, we all know it's nonsense. We all know that it's absolute nonsense, but I think he's fearing that he might be... his legacy might be in jeopardy if people think that he left for his women. The Swedish international obviously had 2 successful years. He's 26-year-old, and he joined the Liga side to get closer to his partner, who used to play for Celtic. She now plays for Sporting Lisbon. It's a bit like a love story. It's like a love story. Rodgers confirmed on the opening day of the season that he did go to be closer to his woman, and we all make decisions based on relationships and family and life, Rodgers said. And let's face it, moving to Spain to be closer to his woman, who wouldn't? But he said, look, it's a clear plus that she and my parents live in Lisbon. He's at it. He's absolutely at it. He says, above all, he says, I moved to Spain for football reasons. Come on, mate. He says, you get a little sentimental when you leave a club. I'll always be grateful for my time at Celtic. You understand what a great club you've been part of. When I look back and I retire, I'll say I had a good few years there. I kept saying it would be something good. It would take something good for me to leave, and it came up. Yeah, of course it did. You got closer to your mum and dad, and you got closer to your missus. Don't say you move for football reasons, because you never move for football reasons. You move to be 4 hours up the road. Now, when you look at the size of Spain, you know, that's nothing. That is nothing. Anyway, you couldn't have got a closer club to her in Spain if you tried. It's not as if you're playing at Barcelona, where it's like an 8-hour train journey or a 3-hour flight. Anyway, absolute nonsense. Well, it's about a 2.5-hour flight from Barcelona to Celta Vigo. Anyway, let's move on for him. He said that he did move for football reasons, and we all know that is absolute nonsense, because he then went on to say, look, it's a bonus that his parents live in. And I'll be honest with you, the amount of people from Sweden that stayed in this area of Spain is unbelievable. I mean, they all like the climate here, so just admit that you moved closer to your family, and we'll admire you more for it. We'll respect you a bit more for it. Talking about people that are Celtic daft, absolutely Celtic daft, there has to be no one else superstar than Rod Stewart. Rod Stewart has shown off his new Ferrari and in his Celtic garage. And you've got to admit, you've got any man at his age that can wear white jeans, hats off to them. Because at that age, you know, hats off to him. He's getting on a bit, let's face it. But Rod Stewart took to Instagram to show off his new garage and his car. and that is Celtic, covered with Celtic. So hats off to Rod and his green and white garage. I hope you enjoy that. It's a bit of a small garage, Rod. I'm not being funny but obviously his big house is in America. But I mean, there's not much room in that garage. My garage back home in Scotland was bigger. Anyway, let's get back to Neil Lennon. We need to get back to Neil Lennon because this has to be absolute comedy gold by Neil. It was obviously, he was on PLZ Soccer talking about the game at the weekend, and during the interview, he let one rip. And no, he's not Eminem, but he did let one rip. So let's listen to this live. And if we can just get the video back up. And we'll get it here. So you ready for this? This is Neil Lennon farting live on air.
He needs to find, first of all, the best formation that suits the squad of players.
Well, just listen to that again.
He needs to find, first of all, the best formation that suits the squad of players.
That's unbelievable.
He needs to find, first of all, the best formation that suits the squad of players.
Neil Lennon has ever done in his entire career. It has to. Is it a new low or is it a new high? I wonder if it absolutely stank. All these questions, but you don't even want to think about asking them. Don't even want to think about asking them. So the big news this afternoon is obviously Reo Hatate is looking to open up talks with Celtic for his new extended deal. Starfelt says that he didn't move to La Liga for love. It was to be closer to his mum and dad. No, it wasn't even to be the closer to his mum and dad. It's to be for football reasons. And let's face it, geographically where he moved to in Spain, he couldn't have got a closer club. So if he wanted to move to La Liga, personally I would have moved somewhere that was a bit warmer, because let's face it, that side of the country, it gets all the really rubbish weather in Spain. And let's face it, it's freezing at this time. It was freezing in the winter. So he never moved there for the hot weather, winter weather. He moved there to be for one reason. His parents live in Lisbon, and surprise, surprise, so does his missus. So there you go. Carl Starfelt, he should have just admitted it. Rod Stewart shows off his new car in his garage. That's not a big garage when on the grand scale of things. And Neil Lennon farts live on air. Absolutely brilliant time to be a Celtic fan. But amazing. Let's talk about this on the live later on, and I shall see you in the next video.
Lit. Roll up to the